The purpose of this video is to show you how to set up your Thunderbolt. First I want to familiarize you with the keys. This is the enter or menu key. This is the power on off. Scroll up, scroll down. You use these to select menu options. This is the audio on or audio off, and this is the speaker. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. I'm going to press the power key, the green key. And the first thing you're going to see is that an identification of the Thunderbolt model, which in this case is the 310 US. Next thing we'll see is that the tone is on, and this is the menu options. The first option is for Storm Detect, and all that is, if I select that, that's just a quick way of leaving the menu and going back to scanning for storms. Now, to reselect the menu, I'm just going to go back and press that red button. Now, if I hadn't done anything, if I hadn't selected that option, in 7 seconds it automatically would have reverted back to scanning for storms if I didn't do anything else with the menu, which you just saw it do. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the menu. I'm going to use the scroll down to select alarm range. I'm going to press the enter key to select that. Now this is the visual alarm. Here's where you set the miles between 6 and 60 miles for when the red LED will start to blink. And I can scroll through those different distances with the scroll up or scroll down. I'm going to leave that at 30 miles. That's just where I happen to like it. And I'm going to select it. I'm going to enter and select that 30 miles. The next option is for the audible alarm, which is now set for 25 miles. Once again, I can set that between 6 and 60 miles. So I'm going to let that at 25. I'm going to come down, I'm going to scroll to the alarm mode, the third option. I'm going to select it. Now this is where this is a secondary alarm. This is an alarm you can get to go off when a storm gets a little bit closer than the initial alarm that you have set for either the visual or the audio. It's a quicker, more urgent type of alarm. I'm going to set that for 20 miles. And again, you can use whatever you choose. And that's good because there's certain situations where you may want the visual alarm or audio alarm to go off initially, and that may be an indication of the time you want to evacuate. Perhaps people with infirmities, or that take longer to get to evacuate. It may also be an earlier warning when you want to start to get your equipment together and get it out of harm's way. And then the secondary alarm, that alarm mode one we set, is the one that goes off. It's more urgent, and that might be when you want to clear personnel, and that's where the actual danger of being struck by lightning is even more urgent. Let me go back to the menu again by selecting the menu button. I'm going to scroll down, and the fourth option is sensitivity. I'm going to select that. Now here you can set between sensitivity of high, or I'll scroll down and you can say normal, high or normal. Normal it doesn't detect a storm as quickly, but it detects its movement more accurately. For the most part, that's going to be what you use. Sensitivity high is when you need a lot more warning, where the earlier warning is more important than the accuracy or exact ETA. In other words, if you were hiking and you were on a high ridge and it's going to take you some time to get to a safe place, you would have sensitivity high. It's also necessary to have the sensitivity set high sometimes when you're in a building where there's a lot of EMI, electromagnetic interference, or a lot of metal. Sometimes the sensitivity high is required. But for most times, it's going to be set to sensitivity normal. Let me go back to the menu again by pressing the menu button. I'm going to scroll down. And the fifth choice is a noise test. Now the noise test, when I select that, I would scroll down to start or exit. I'm not going to select it here because it takes 12 minutes to run, but if I do select the start, what happens then is the Thunderbolt is going to sample all the electromagnetic interference in the environment, and it ignores it. And that's a very important feature of the Thunderbolt versus any of its competitors, because a lot of the competitors have no way of knowing what the noise is in the background, and you get a lot of false alarms. This makes it much more flexible because you can use it in more office environments where you have computers and other equipment that give off interference. And so you can actually, as I like to put it, you can put the Thunderbolt and use it where you want it, not where it has to be, like in the case of the competitors. There will be some cases, though, where there's just too much interference in the environment for it to function, and when that's the case, you'll get a message telling you that there is too much interference, so at least you know where you're at. And let me go back to the menu, and the sixth option is the backlight. Now if I choose that one, I can turn it on or I can turn it off. I'm going to leave it on. And again, you scroll between the options with the up or down scroll key. I'm going to select that. And that's all there is to it. I'm going to go back to the scanning. You can do this on the fly too. You don't have to do it just once. I mean, you can update it when you go somewhere. I think the most important thing to remember is that with the noise test, you should always perform that when there are no storms within 50 miles. And the reason that is, if there is storm activity, you would be telling the Thunderbolt that those signals that you're being received from this actual storm are noise, and it would learn to filter them out. So you would be desensitizing your Thunderbolt. So the best way to go about that is to check the weather reports and look to see that there are no storms within 50 miles. Run the noise test, and you'll be fine. And that's all there is to it. And if you have any questions about setting it up, you can contact me at 610-670-2549, and I would be happy to help you. I also wanted to show you here, to turn it off, you go to the power button and hold it down. And you have to hold it down until you hear that alarm. Remove it. And the reason you have to hold it down is so you don't accidentally turn it off.